Everybody says to love yourself. This video is going to be about how to do it practically. First question we would want to ask ourselves is, when do we need love the most? Well, it's the moment we are triggered. And in that moment, we are in a negative mind state and space, and we are experiencing negative emotions and feelings. So that's when we need love the most. The second question we would want to ask ourselves is, when do we not love ourselves? Well, that is easy to say because it's in the moment we get triggered by a negative thought, emotion, feeling, or a situation or other person. And instead of leaning inwards for us to self-soothe and give us love and grow through the pain, we are expecting anyone else other than ourselves to give us love and take away pain. So in order to shift this game around, we would want to allow to practice this event actually happening on the mind state, or practically with some recurring repetitive pattern on our outer world. And in that moment, instead of focusing on our outer world, to focus inwards. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it needs exercising, because the moment we are triggered, that's when we are expecting the savior and experiencing the villain most than any other moment. So the moment we are triggered, we are observing our outer world through the victim mindset, the victim lenses. And in that moment, it becomes very, very challenging to go from what is happening in our minds, the projection of what is happening outwards, to go inwards. Because yes, what's happening is projected outwards, but where it starts from is inwards. And in order to be able to go from outward in, it becomes very challenging when we are expecting for us to be able to do that shift the moment we are triggered. Because in that moment, we are actually in denial of our inner world the most. We are, so at the intensity that we're focusing on our outer world to take pain away and give us love is exacerbated. And so in that moment, it becomes almost impossible to shift our direction inwards, embrace that part of us that is needing love, grow through that part of us that is showing us the guidance towards growth, which is pain, right? Pain directs us to more growth. And then go and, respond, become responsibility. So instead, what we can do is just recreate this, right? When we are at home and there is nothing really happening, because, the good thing about being able to do this is that we are calling in those invisible tigers. Because in that moment, we are knowing that, we know that we are in a space where there is no one physically that can play the role of the savior or become the villain. But we are intentionally, right, going in the trigger by wanting to own responsibility. So therefore allowed to feel the emotion of whatever it is that is negative and painful. And in that moment, call our attention focus inwards instead of trying to escape this situation and project, defend, deflect, and, fight, flight, freeze to whatever is happening. Because by doing that, reacting to the trigger, we repeat the pattern. And it's become super challenging to shift the programming and then change our reality. So what we would want to do is call in our guide, our guru, our teacher, which is the trigger of the negative. Because it's negative, we label it as negative because in that moment, we are resisting the unknown. We are fighting and defending ourselves from the unknown. And we're fighting ourselves from fear. Because anything outside of our comfort zone is, just creates fear. That doesn't mean it's dangerous. The way we respond or react to it makes it what it is. So, to conclude, in order to practice more self-love, we would want to actively practice growth through our triggers. And triggers do not only a need to be exercised when there's somebody else out there, pressing our buttons and triggering us. But instead, we can recreate that, very unwanted. That's how we have explained it within ourselves. We have actually named that part of ourselves unwanted because we aren't able to love ourselves there. So we're judging this experience as something bad, wrong. We have done this association that whenever we are thinking negative thoughts and feeling negative emotions and feelings, there's something wrong with me or I'm doing something wrong. There's a very big correlation between the two. And this cannot be further from the truth. There's something very right with triggers because they are coming to point out where we are needing more love. They're actually working for us, through us. They're wanting to guide us towards more expansion and open up to who we always have been, love.